Please subscribe my channel. At the office holiday party, my wife kept talking nonstop about her boss, going on and on about how great he was at leading the team, how much money he had, and how many important people he knew. Each praise got louder than the one before. She laughed in a happy, bright way, clearly loving how special she felt standing next to him. I stood there quietly, holding my glass, listening without saying a word. Some people looked at me with pity, thinking I must feel ashamed or unsure of myself. I didn't. I saw how her boss loved all the attention, smiling like he owned the room, not knowing how quickly that kind of confidence can break. My wife moved closer to him with every story she told, as if being near him made her more important. I didn't argue or try to stop her. I just smiled nicely. Staying quiet is smart when the right moment hasn't come yet. While she talked, I looked around the room, noticing who had power, who followed who, and the invisible rules she thought she had figured out. Bragging usually shows neediness, not real strength. She didn't notice that she had stopped talking about us as a couple and only talked about him. In that moment, she told me everything I needed to know without realizing it. I waited calmly, knowing exactly when to step in without yelling or making a scene. Finally, she turned to me, expecting me to agree, and asked in a casual way if I didn't think her boss was amazing. I smiled bigger and nodded yes. That caught her off guard. She thought I would get defensive or jealous. I stepped closer, lowered my voice so only she could hear, and whispered something. Speaking softly can shift who holds the power. I leaned in slowly, close enough that her happy smile started to fade. The room seemed quieter all of a sudden, even though the music was still playing. Her boss watched us with interest, looking entertained. My wife rolled her eyes in a playful way, still sure she was in control of the situation. I picked my words carefully, not hurried, not angry. What I whispered wasn't mean. It was exact and true. The change in her was instant. Her body went stiff. She stopped breathing for a second, and all the color left her face like someone turned off a light. She didn't laugh anymore. She didn't say anything. She just froze. Around us, people slowed their conversations as they noticed something had changed. Confidence doesn't fade slowly. It falls apart fast when the truth comes in quietly and stays. Her boss moved closer, puzzled by her sudden quiet, and asked if everything was okay. She couldn't speak. Her eyes stayed fixed on mine, wide and scared. I stood up straight again, calmly giving her space she no longer earned. She finally said my name in a tiny, shaking voice. The boss gave an awkward laugh, thinking it was just a normal husband-wife argument. Then he saw her hands shaking. That's when he asked me what I had said. I smiled politely and answered that I had simply cleared up a misunderstanding. His smile disappeared. My wife swallowed hard, looking down at the floor, unable to look at anyone. People close by acted like they weren't listening, but they were hanging on every second. The room felt heavy, like right before a big storm. Her boss tried to lighten the mood with a joke, but nobody laughed with him. Power depends on people believing you're sure of yourself. That belief had just walked out the door. My wife leaned against a table for support, suddenly wobbly, realizing that praise built on lies falls apart the moment someone says the right truth quietly. She finally spoke and quietly begged me to stop, saying we could talk about it later. That plea by itself showed how serious my whisper had been. I shook my head softly. Later is already gone, I said in a calm voice. Her boss looked back and forth between us, confused and uncomfortable. I turned to him and spoke respectfully, thanking him for guiding my wife at work. Being respectful can catch proud people off guard. Then I added one clear sentence, explaining that I knew about his role in things that had nothing to do with work. The room went completely quiet. His face tightened right away. My wife closed her eyes as the full embarrassment hit her. Guests stopped pretending they weren't watching. Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. The boss opened his mouth to speak, then closed it, knowing that denying it would only make things worse. I didn't shout accusations or make threats. I just said out loud what was real. Saying the truth plainly is strong. My wife slowly sat down in a chair, shaking, finally understanding she had mixed up power with safety. That feeling of safety vanishes the second everyone else sees the real story. The party never got fun again. Small talk turned into excuses to leave early. Her boss left fast, already talking on his phone, all his confidence gone. My wife stayed sitting, tears running down her face quietly, unable to look up. I picked up my coat without rushing. She reached for my arm and whispered sorry over and over, but it was too late. I didn't yank away in anger. I just stepped to the side. That small move broke her completely. Outside, the cool night air felt clean and real. Inside, quiet talking took the place of music. In the days that followed, my phone filled with messages, apologies, attempts to fix things, long explanations. I replied only once, shortly, setting clear lines without being harsh. An internal review started quietly at the company. Planned promotions stopped. People got moved to different teams. How others saw them changed. I never said anything publicly. Truth doesn't need extra words. My wife had the hardest time accepting how calm I stayed the whole time. Staying calm took away any excuse she could use. I didn't destroy a party. I ended a false story. Made-up stories can't survive real facts delivered quietly to the people who need to hear them. A few weeks later, she asked to meet and talk, hoping I would forgive her. I agreed to a short meeting. She showed up quiet and humble without any act and said sorry in a real way for the first time. I accepted the apology, but did not open the door again. Forgiving someone doesn't mean letting them back in. She asked what exactly I had whispered that night. I told her it didn't matter now. What mattered was that she knew it was true the second she heard it. She nodded, full of shame. We said goodbye calmly. My life settled down fast once the disrespect was gone for good. Work got better. I slept well again. I trusted my own judgment once more. People still talk about that party in quiet voices, not about the bragging, but about the heavy silence that came after. Silence bothers people more than loud arguing. I learned something that night that will stay with me forever. Real power isn't about controlling others or standing close to important people. It's about holding back and choosing the right moment. Her boss had it all until he suddenly didn't. My wife thought being admired would protect her. It didn't. True protection comes from doing the right thing, not from being near someone powerful. When honesty is gone, everything can fall apart without warning. Bragging is usually a sign of feeling unsure inside, looking for others to say you're okay. I didn't try to compete with her words or correct her in front of everyone. I whispered the truth in private and let the results happen on their own. The room went quiet because people know real truth when it shows up calmly. I didn't set out to embarrass her. I simply saw what she was showing me and acted on it. Today, my days are calmer, more steady, and based on real respect. I don't waste time arguing with disrespect. I just walk away from it. If there's one thing worth remembering, it's this. Confidence that comes from borrowing someone else's power falls apart when it meets the truth. Truth doesn't need to be loud. It only needs to be clear and exact. That one whisper changed everything because it stopped the pretending right away. My wife froze because she knew it was true. Her boss went quiet because he understood the trouble. And I walked out knowing that keeping your dignity doesn't need cheers from others. It only needs clear thinking, bravery, and the readiness to stop the act the moment it stops being honest.